scrub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the crop, gotta love it or not. I'm hot from the hop to the scrub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the scrub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the scrub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the scrub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with everybody, we do it. Everybody, we do it.
What is good? You are now tapped into the coolest motherfucking reptile podcast in the world. I'm your boy MJ. If this is your first time tapping in, what is good? Before we get started, man, make sure you hit that like button, that dislike button, describe. You know what I mean? Hold on one second. What is good, everybody? Man, I am so stoked. Can you guys hear me okay? Sorry. I'm ready to get my headphones. I'm ready for this, man. But what is good, man? Hope everyone's having a great week. I know I'm having a great week. I'm very excited for this episode, for this round 2 with the big homie Willie, Big Willie style. But, you know, before we get started, before I say what up to the beautiful early birds up in the building, you already know what the deal is. For the freshest and bestest rodents delivered to your doorstep, Cold-Blooded Cafe! www.coldbloodedcafe.com. $30 flat rate shipping, day one pinks, all the way to the mammoth rats. Whatever size snake you got, they got the rat for it. So make sure you guys go to their website, check them out. Shout out to Desiree, shout out to Steven, the whole Cold-Blooded Cafe crew. You guys are amazing. Keep doing big work, inspiring stuff. And thank you for providing my beautiful snakes and reptiles with gorgeous, well-fed, dieted rodents. Love you guys. Shout out to John. Shout out to Alex over at Sim Containers. How many of you people got eggs in the sim box right now? I know I don't have any eggs in a sim box right now, but I got eggs coming. Oh, they're coming. Knock on wood. Oops. Knock on wood. They're coming. And my sim boxes are ready, man. I'm not going to lie. My sim boxes have been ready. But if any of you out there are using the sim boxes right now, and have been tagging me in your stories, tagging Sim Container in your stories, and showing your success with the Sim Containers, hell yeah, keep doing that, please. Very motivating. And I hope everyone's breeding season is going great so far. Halfway through the year, still got a lot of got a lot of game left here, so which we're gonna talk about that here in just a second with my man Will. But yeah, shout out to John, shout out to Alex, Sim Container, shout out to Steven, shout out to Ashley over at Focus Cube Habitats. The fucking future of enclosures has now landed upon the industry, and that's where it's at. I'm telling you right now, PVC built enclosures for any kind of reptile. Steve and Ashley keep some sick ass monitors. They have a beautiful croc monitor in one of their custom big ass 6x4x3 enclosures. I actually have one of those being made right now for my bell laces. So I cannot wait. But make sure you guys, if you guys want to get ahead of the game and you want to have a sick ass room full of nice built PVC enclosures, Focus Cube Habitat is where it's at. Okay, so shout out to Steven, shout out to Ashley. You guys are the truth. Stainless steel racks, nothing's better than Freedom Breeder. Made in the United States. I'm telling you, the OG of OG when it comes to breeder rack systems. Anywhere from, you wanting to be a successful rat breeder to feed your snakes, or you just want to be a successful rat breeder to feed other people's snakes or whatever, or you just want to be a sick-ass snake breeder. They got both of those shits ready for you. I'm telling you right now, professional vibe when it comes to owning a Freedom Breeder rack. And you know exactly what I'm talking about if you actually have a Freedom Breeder rack. So if you got one of these motherfuckers, pat yourself on the back. Shout out to Jesse. Shout out to the Freedom Breeder crew. You guys are sick. And yeah, man, speaking of sick, Jesus Christ, Miguel Garcia, always evolving pythons, always killing the game, always seems to be traveling somewhere. Bro, this motherfucker in Mexico making big moves, had a great conversation with him over the phone. If you guys kind of want to get an insight, like I know you, shout out to his Patreon members, by the way, sick ass Patreon page that Miguel runs. But if you guys aren't a part of that Patreon page and you're just kind of curious on what the fuck's going on with Miguel and going to Mexico, I would tune in to this week's plug being dropped Saturday, 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. That's being dropped on Animal Bites Television. The link to that is in the description below, okay? So be ready for that. I got some good stuff that I'm going to go ahead and drop on this week's plug. But shout out to my boy Miguel Garcia, and if you guys aren't following him, then you're not doing yourself any favors. I'm telling you right now. Go follow my boy Miguel Garcia and thank me later, man. And make sure you guys are all still up and fighting for our animal rights and helping USARK do what they can to keep our fucking animals from not being touched. I mean, it's crazy, right? Like we think like, who the hell is going to come and take our animals? Well, I mean, I don't even want to joke around that. Like, I don't even want people saying that that's going to happen, you know? So do what you can, guys. You know, if you got some of that stimmy money left, dude, just donate some of that, become a member of USARK. And I'm telling you, you'll feel better. You'll feel much better knowing that you're fucking doing something to fight for your animals. You know what I mean? Because if your animals mean as much as they do to me, if your animals mean as much to you as they do to me, man, I'm telling you right now, supporting USARK would be no issue whatsoever. So make sure you guys go down the link below and do what you can to support USARK. If you cannot financially support USARK, no big deal. It's all good. Ain't no one gonna hate on you, but just talk about it, man. You know, share it. You know, if you got a new homie, Clifford down the street, who just got into reptiles and you know he has a little bit of loot and he needs to be put up on game, talk to Clifford and let him know USARK needs our help. And that's just how it starts. You know what I mean? Okay. And then real quick, before we get into things, herpermerch.com, man, shout out to Cedric for putting the Trap Talk podcast gear on his website. You could also get always evolving Python gear at the herpermerch.com. You could also get Royal Canadian reptile gear, man, straight up Will Moroz gear. I mean, a lot of big dogs on this fucking website here, man. So if you out there want to support any of the big dogs out there and you want to rep them, then trust me, go down to the link below, check out herpermerch.com and cop yourself some fucking gear. And then as far as reaching out to me, guys, I'm on social media, you know, as far as Instagram, mjexoticscartal with an A, not an E. Make sure you follow me. Check out what animals I'm producing and working with. Majority of ball pythons, not gonna lie. But also have some other cool stuff. Follow the podcast's page too, Trap Talk with MJ Podcast. I'm on Twitch. What up to all my Twitch viewers? I think there's 2 or 3 of you out there. Respect. But if you out there have Twitch, man, go fuck with me, man. Follow me on Twitch. Follow me on TikTok. I don't know about TikTok, man. I just posted probably the best video I'd ever posted in my life, and it's a Tia and Tamara edit, and it got 0 likes. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. That's fucked up. 0 likes. That's not even cool. I'm not mad at anyone for that. All right. But other than that, Patreon, man, shout out to my Patreon family. You guys are amazing. I just copped 2 new Patreon members to the family today. And I'm telling you right now, man, I am so blessed. We get together every Sunday. Okay. Every Sunday, 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Tap in with me and the family, man. If you out there are looking to get some sort of information other than ball pythons, don't get me wrong. There's so much sick ball python Patreon. Not so much, but there's a good handful of legit Patreon member, ball python Patreon members out there, Patreon pages out there. But me, I'm just more diverse. Okay. And a lot of my shit has to do with the podcast. It has like, you know, I give insights on what I'm bringing to the table. You know, what I have planned on the back end. Okay. You never know. And you never know who I'm going to bring to a Zoom session. I got a lot of homies that like to fucking help me out and talk to the homies. So either way, I love you guys. Thank you to all my Patreon members. Thank you to all the support. And just to my viewers, man, everyone who fucks with the channel, thank you so much. Means the world to me. My biggest push, my biggest motivation is everyone who fucks with this channel. So thank you so much. Early bird, what is good? Guys, I want to talk to Will so bad, so I'm going to say hi to you guys real quick, okay? What up to all the early birds in the building? Damn, there's so many of you. Man, what's up, Hannah Banana? Hannah, are you ready for a good show? I know I'm ready. What's up, Mary? Glad you're here. What up, Royal Clutch? How you doing, big dog? B&H Reptiles, are you ready for a good show? This is one of the homies that just joined the Patreon page, Herbert, HB Reptiles. That's a homie right there. He's a 4-star general. So thanks for joining the Patreon page, man. Another Patreon savage right here, Year Zero Reptiles. He's actually rolling up to the Trap Barbecue. That's right. I'm throwing a big-ass barbecue here at the Trap for all my fucking Patreon members. And I have some special guests rolling through. but that's all I'm going to say. But I cannot wait, bro. It's going to be a sick-ass time, Chandler. Krista, I know you're ready to go down the Trap Barbecue too. Shit's going to go down. What up, Tyler King? How you doing? Another Trap Patreon homie. What's up, Arroyo? How you doing, buddy? Derek Pide, another new Patreon Savage. What's up, man? I'm glad you're in the building. Morphin Dorphins, the homie Christian. This is a big homie right here. Canada in the house. What up, Christian? Thank you for being here. What up, Jacob? Another Patreon Savage, 4-star general in the building. Abes, what up, Abes? Got to meet the homie Abe's Exotics over at the last Schomburg show. So shout out to the homie Abe. I'm glad I got to meet you, bro. Your voice is a lot deeper than I expected, but I think that's super player. Anyways, great to meet you, Abe. Quebec Reptiles, another Canadian homie in the house. I'm just guessing based off your name. Thanks for being here. Lily, what's up, Lily? My second favorite Lily. Jay Hando, what is good? I'm going to end this on Black Sun Reptiles. All right, guys, everyone, thank you for being here, okay? I've had the pleasure of having Will on 3 times, okay? I've only had him on once, one-on-one. So this technically is the round 2 one-on-one. And I'm not going to lie, I always have so much to talk about with Will. He's fucking I think he's Canada's fucking not only like finest, but probably hottest too. And he's right here in the fucking building.
What's up, man? How you doing? How's
everything?
Up,
buddy? What's up?
Good, man. Not much, dude. Just, plugging away, enjoying summer. What about you?
I'm all over the place right now. I'm super hyper.
Yeah, that's all good.
I'm excited, bro. I'm doing good, man. Like I was telling you earlier during sound check, can't complain. Trying to stay busy. I was trying not to let the whole, things going late kind of bother me, but I just, I'm not too experienced, Will. Like, I don't know how many times you've had late seasons or things go a lot later, but what's your experience with that? I mean, we can get right into that.
It never runs the same every year, right? It's always different. Excuse me.
You're good.
This year, though, it's been really late. I feel like I'm about 2 months behind. 2 months behind where I should be. I mean, things are starting to happen now, but I obviously keep a record of when stuff went last year and how many clutches and when they hatched and when they laid and ovulation dates and all that sort of thing. And I have a lot of girls that just like that went last year that are going again this year, but they laid in May, they laid in June. This year they're going to lay end of July into middle of August. So there's a big like, it's almost like feels like a 2-month pushback.
Okay.
Not sure what to attribute that to. Sounds like it seems to be across the board with a lot of guys. Bit of a later year, but I mean, nothing to worry about, right? It's nothing. It's out of your control. You just breed them and feed them. It's pretty much it.
Now, the reason why I've, even kind of let it bother me a little bit is because I talk to so many people who have like literally seasoned, like breeding, like it's like clockwork for them. Like their girl typically goes like, if not 2 weeks or a month from last year. Right. So, but you got to think demographic, right? Like how is their room? How do they heat up their ambient? What are they doing? Right.
Well, that's exactly it. Like everyone's keeping like everyone's husbandry and keeping style is a little bit different. And, we all get keeping healthy animals and whatnot, but just the way that you keep them, and I don't know if, the dry California versus the humid East Coast, if that has anything to do with it. Our winter here normally is much colder than it was this year.
Right.
We had very, very mild winter. Lots of times we'll have a month of sort of 15 to 20 below for a month straight. And we barely got that at all this year. So I had a funny feeling that had something to do with it. But it's that sort of thing is out of my control. Just watch your females, watch what you're doing, watch what you're breeding, and just look for the signs, man, and things will happen. It's just really they're not like super complicated to breed. The way I kind of look at things is like they're either gonna go or they're not gonna go. I used to get really like she's not going, get really kind of discouraged about it, but I just started to be like, you know what, there's always cool stuff happening every year. When you have multiple cool projects all land in the same year, it's awesome. Don't get me wrong, it's wicked, but you just work with a wide variety of stuff. And 1 year you'll have a really wicked ultramel year, and then the following year you have a really good hypo year.
So, Will, there had to be a point in your career where you didn't have an ultrasound, correct? Like there had to be. Or did you always have? You always had an ultrasound.
Yeah, from day one. Yeah.
Gangster. God, I forgot your dad was a vet. So no shit. You got okay. But let's think okay, realistically, Will, like not too many people have pops as vets. Not many people have the money to start off getting an ultrasound. Like I'm one of them. I didn't start off with an ultrasound, right?
Yeah.
So let me like if you were to talk to somebody like for me, right? And you have a female who's still eating, right?
Yeah.
You know, they're still getting locked, right? At what point do you decide, you know, she's not going to go this year? Or do you, if you don't have an ultrasound, do you just recommend just fucking keep pairing? Like, don't stop.
Depends. I mean, you can keep pairing, because what's the harm? That's the way I look at it. The only reason that I would say to maybe stop pairing would be potentially the fact that you may be wearing your male out. You know, if he's breeding all year long and doesn't get that like 4 or 5 month break off of females, then he's always in breed mode. And if he goes off of food, that's when things can go downhill for him. But you know, without an ultrasound, really, I would aim for from October until June to try and get a lock once a month on that female. Without an ultrasound, I would breed probably like a 1 to 5, so 1 male to 5 females. I probably wouldn't stretch them much further than that. Even with an ultrasound, I try not to. I mean, obviously, you get ones that go 1 to 8, 1 to 9, but you have to be really careful about when you're breeding them and whatnot. But yeah, it's you know, without an ultrasound, I'd recommend going like a 1 to 5 and try and just go, you know, once a week. He goes in with that female and hopefully he locks her. And you know, if you get a lock, if the first, how do I explain this? How does this make sense? Basically aim to get a lock on each female once a month. And you know, I have lots of girls that go with 1 lock. So that's not unheard of.
Just for the record too, Will, it's okay if they do lock more than once a month. Like that's not
yeah, of course.
There's no such thing as overbreeding, right? I mean, there is, like, I'm just saying, like, if, like, let's just say you only have 1 male, like, let's say the guy is a real small scale breeder, right? You only have 1 male to 1 female type shit, right?
Yeah, breed them up.
You're okay, right?
Yeah, even then, if you're just doing a 1-to-1, I'd still only aim for once a month. But what that does, the beauty about that is it gives you the time to keep your male eating and get him like really feeding well.
Right.
You know, a lot of males will go off of food during the breeding season, and that can be, you know, once they go off of food, you know, I generally give them about another 6 weeks, and then I want to pull them because it's just not worth it. You know, they go downhill quickly when they're not on food and they're, you know, you're still pushing them. You know, that's a recipe for something not good.
Right. Okay. Now, that being said, right, like if we could kind of talk about your beginning years, like you've always had an ultrasound, right?
Yeah.
Was it your pops really putting you on game with shit, or like did you have like I know we talked about this briefly, but like who was advising you to use an ultrasound? It had to be your pops, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, I had seen, you know, some other guys using an ultrasound, and it was always kind of like, damn, that would be cool to know. And my dad was just kind of like, go get it. I was like, go get what? I was like, the ultrasound, it's upstairs. So I was like, oh shit, you have one.
This guy.
And so we brought it down and we checked, and it's like, okay, there you go. And it was like a little bit of a learning curve to learn, you know, what to look for and all that stuff. But Dad knew right away. I was kind of like, there it is. There's an egg. It's like, no, that's a rat. You know, it's like,
bro, you're straight like Tiger Woods, bro. Like, you want to know what I mean by that? So Tiger Woods, someone put a fucking putter in his hand when he was like, or his dad, obviously. His dad put a putter in his hand when he was 4. And the motherfucker was just like, boom, like just meant to be. I think with your dad being in your life, like I think you were just like the stars were aligned from day one. Because I mean, think about it. Not too many, especially like you were younger too, bro. Like you're 20, like
18, 19. Yeah.
God, like that's nuts, bro. Like a lot of people don't understand that ultrasound aspect until like, well, you know, especially like no social media days. I mean, there was, but limited. You know what I mean? Like,
right. It was much more forum based.
Right.
A lot more forum based.
Have we talked about how you worked that back then? Like how was your information gathering back then, Will? Like, you know,
it was good. I you know, Bush League Breeders Club, the fauna classifieds, King Snake, and then we had Reptiles Canada here.
Okay.
and really like, you know, I still remember having to like, I would take pictures with my camera and I'd take the memory card out, put it into the card reader, drag the files onto the computer, start a thread in a forum like New Desert Ghost, and then have to like upload the photo to the forum, submit the forum. Where now it's just like scroll through your phone, you're like swinging through your phone, like, oh, that's a good picture, post it, you know? So,
I mean,
so that
dude,
was.
I tell people like you got to be really late. I mean, like I hate to use the word lazy, but come on, if you can't post like at least once a day, like it takes hardly anything to post. Like I understand if you're traveling, like life does happen. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying it's pretty fucking easy to post nowadays. Like life is made so easy to market yourself. It's ridiculous.
And guys, you can even use there's an app called Hootsuite, which basically you can pre-program your posts for a week, a month, a year, if you want to. So we program our posts for a week, and they just automatically, I don't even have to post them. They just automatically do it.
That's sick.
So that's easy. But yeah, in the beginning, I mean, there was a lot of like talking to guys that I trusted and that I thought were, you know, doing cool stuff. Two of the big ones for us were Mark Mandic and would have been Ralph Davis. And they both helped tremendously. Bought lots of animals from both those guys, and you know, and those guys, like, you know, they knew what the hell they were doing. So I'll never forget the 1 year. I was probably like 20, so you know, pretty full of myself, and had the breeding project going on, and I was sure the female was going to go. I had no idea. I had no idea what I was doing. I was just putting males in, feeding them, and hopefully they go. And Mark came over. And I was like, yeah, this girl's going to go. And he just like opened the bin, no ultrasound, nothing. Just opened the bin, lifted her, and put her back. He's like, no, she's not. And I was just like, what are you talking about? Like, yeah, she is. Like, what do you know? And she didn't go. And I was like, okay, damn, this guy knows what he's talking about. And
I'll fuck up now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was one of those like, okay, I'm going to shut my mouth.
But I mean, but good for you to find that out. You know, you could have found that out the hard way easily. You know what I mean? Like, so.
Oh yeah, there's no matter all the, you know, you can have all the help in the world, and you're still going to find things out the hard way, no matter what. Right. You know, you still have to do it yourself. You know, you can, exactly. You know, like with anything, you can train with the best coach, but like you still have to lift the weight. It's just the way it is, you know. And you know, that coach helps a lot. But yeah, no. So that was sort of the beginning. Those two would be the Ralph Davis and Mark Mandic, for sure.
And Ralph Davis, man. I mean, working on this guy, bro, it's not easy. But
no, he's not. He won't be easy.
I mean, I'm happy he responds to me. You know, I talked to him on Facebook. You know, he's into fishing and shit, and you know, he's fucking guy's a hands-on guy, man. He's always rebuilding shit. Anyway, so but from what I hear, man, like this guy back in his day, man, like he had like a blog type thing. Like he was like he was somebody who really wasn't quiet. Like he fucking put his shit out there. Like, you know, from what
and Ralph was really like he was what made YouTube. You know, like not like he made YouTube a platform, but like he did the ball python video thing, and that was kind of like dude, I don't know if I can explain what it was like. I guess it's probably like Justin's videos now to a lot of people. But it was, for me at the time, it was like Ralph just posted a new video. It was like, drop what you're doing and get to a computer. Because what did he just do? And honestly, right. I actually went back, this is probably a few months ago. And I found his YouTube channel and watched a bunch of his old videos. And dude, the stuff he was making in 2008 and 2009 is still very, very cool stuff today, which is crazy to say that. You know, there was one, he called it like The Thing, and it was like a super phantom super stripe, and it was like a white snake with a yellow line down its back, and it just like that stuff at the time was just so like unseen, unheard of. It was just crazy. His lavender stuff at the time was just nuts. Then the flatline, like that thing was just, bro. Like, you know, the flatline was when I started like the Pompeii. Like that was like, and And the way he did it, just like, it was just like, you're watching this video and it's just like, you just hear this music in the background and just like, you just see racks and he's moving around. You don't see, no talking, no nothing. It's like a 10-minute video. And then the last like 5 seconds, he just like pans over a tub and there's like the craziest snake you've ever seen in that tub. And you're just like, whoa. And, you like pause the video and like try and like, what is this? And it was insane.
The suspense, bro. The guy knew what he was doing.
Yeah, Ralph was he still is a great guy. He's,
Well, mark my words. Listen, he already agreed. It's going to happen, just a matter of when. So Ralph Davis will be on this podcast.
That's big, man.
It's just a matter of when.
So that'd be really cool. Yeah, he helped out. He helped out a lot. So that's pretty much the start, man. That's those are the two, Mark and Ralph.
So if we could kind of talk about some of the, I know you just name dropped some morphs. That was kind of like in that prime time in your era, back in that day when you were coming up. But what are some of the genes that stuck with you to this day that are still one of your fucking main providers with your combos?
Not necessarily like a main provider. Like obviously we transitioned pretty heavily into, we always did into recessive projects. So it was something that we had always started from right off the bat. But Phantom would be one that's throughout my collection quite a bit. Oddly enough, I haven't really done that much with it, but it's throughout the collection quite a bit. What else did we get from Ralph? Some lavender stuff, Phantom lavender. Dude, there's a ton of stuff that's. Oh, I have Shattered. Shattered was a gene that, like, I mean, I don't know how many people work with it still, but that's a gene that just kind of got brushed under the rug, and I don't know if it does anything. I really have no idea. We've bred some Shatter stuff. Some of it's really visual, some of it's not visual, not very visual at all. So it's kind of got like a 50-50 thing going there. But the gene that definitely stuck, like there's two genes that really like we got early and have really we've built those projects within our own collection would be Puzzle and Desert Ghost for sure. Both of those are like 2000 and probably 2010. Yeah, 2010. I got the trio of puzzles from Sean.
Now puzzles at a point where it's starting to pick up now. Like obviously, it's coming around. Now, what do you think about that? Like, how do you still feel like potential? The potential still there as it was before?
Oh, dude, the potential. So one of the things that you have to look at, especially with a lot of these genes, right, is every gene has potential, and people can say potential till they're blue in the face, but until you show them what it can do, that's when something takes off. And I think Puzzle is, over the last few years, not just myself, lots of other guys. Ozzy's been doing some crazy puzzle stuff, and I think the genes just got. The way I look at it is that it's a pattern-changing recessive mutation. It's not necessarily overpowering, where some of the pattern changers can be, like, for example, genetic stripe. Genetic stripe tends to just like fully blow out the animal, and you don't really get much to work with. Now, G-stripe clown, totally new avenue, but right. G-stripe on its own was not really something that really, jumped at us. But with Puzzle, it was just like this. I just remember seeing Sean produce the super pastel puzzle, and I was just like, what the hell is that? Like, that is insane. And ended up the story of how Puzzle came to be. And we right off the bat was just like, this is something cool. I want to work with it. And it goes back to working with what you like, If we didn't like it, you wouldn't have success with it. So if you don't like the gene, don't get it. But if you like something, yeah, pursue it. And it takes time. It takes a lot of time. Like the puzzle stuff was not, I feel so like almost jealous. Not jealous is the wrong word, but like people coming in today don't have any idea how easy, not easy. It's not easy. It's the wrong word. They don't have any idea how good they have it.
Right.
Because when we started, like it was, you take a puzzle and you breed it to a pastel, or you breed it to an Enchi, or you breed it to a lesser. Like you didn't have super orange dream, yellow belly, Enchi spot nose females. You didn't have these loaded combo females to just be like, oh, new recessive gene into these 5-6 gene combo females. Boom. Now I've got crazy hets year one. It took a long time. Like having a breeder cypress female, like yeah, we didn't have that. Like how the hell am I gonna make a cypress puzzle? It just came like, holy. So so yeah, it's you know, it takes time, but it's getting there. This year's gonna be really.
All right,
we're gonna have should have some cool puzzle stuff this year, I think.
All right, little 30-minute intermission real quick because I'm doing I'm doing an experiment with YouTube. Last episode, man, I was all happy because like just because the interaction I had, you know, Cusco's video had like 111 likes, and I was like, man, much love and respect. And then the next day, literally 40 likes. So in my head, I'm thinking that's a lot of likes to take away from a live. So guys, do me a favor. There's already a good amount of likes in this shit now. Let's get the likes up for my man Will. I want to test this shit out again. I really want to see if YouTube's going to really jack that many likes away from me again. But more importantly, do for the homie Will. Guys, out there right now, let's get the likes up right now. All right? Sorry, Will. Let's get back into it here.
Yeah.
So, okay. Yeah. So that's okay. So let's I want to talk to the next thing that I was going to get into, because with the whole like getting into, you know, a platform of like what foundations you should build off of, right? Like, so if somebody new is coming into the game, right? You know, you always hear like, oh, you should get clown, right? But like, if you know, you will, like, you're obviously you're a deeper thinker than that. So like, what would your game plan be if somebody like, you know, like you, right, coming into a game like the ball python game?
Who starting? I see. That's a crazy question, because like starting from scratch, what do I do?
Right.
I'm looking at stuff like just myself. I'm looking at stuff that hasn't really been worked. That has like, you know, so clown. Let's talk about clown. Right. Clown is probably the best gene in ball pythons. It's the best recessive gene. It gives you the most pattern variation. There's the craziest combos. You know, but with that said, it's also the most worked gene. So that you've seen a lot of combos that have failed, not failed, but didn't do as well in clown. But because there's so many people working clown, you're bound to stumble upon some crazy interactions. And with those crazy interactions, you can then move forward. With genes that are not worked nearly in the same numbers. So for example, puzzle, tri-strike, sunset, monsoon, those type of genes, you know, obviously price plays a huge factor. But if you just take price right off the table and just say like, these are the genes that I want to work with, you know, puzzle has a puzzle, tri-strike, monsoon, sunset, all these genes, that the more people that get involved in it, the more you're going to see crazy stuff start to happen. And
right.
and so one of the things that I look at is like, you know, I look at genes that are not necessarily, especially recessive projects, that are not necessarily being worked like clown is. And don't get me wrong, I half my collection is clown. It's probably the best gene. I'll always work with clown. Right. But it's just one of the things that, like, you know, I look at puzzle and I go like, damn, this is a pattern changing gene. Yeah, we're able to influence the pattern with other genes. And that to me, it's just like, okay, it's not necessarily if, it's when you're going to stumble upon something crazy. Right. It's bound to happen. I mean, Ozzy's already starting to show us like he's running the super orange dream kind of side of things, and like some of the stuff, dude, this year I'm just fuck. Super OD yellow belly puzzle. Like I don't know anyone who doesn't like that. Like you put that in the hands of anybody, and that it's a crazy looking animal.
It really never seems to amaze me like what Ozzy's coming out with, and bro, you know, even you, bro. I mean, Justin, it's like, but like I said, I feel like the reason why that's happening, man, is because all the time that's been put in, man. Like
that's
it just hasn't happened. It hasn't happened in 5 years. Like that shit goes down deep, bro. Like people don't really know that. Like, and it's really cool to like look up the projects that Will's doing and JKR is doing. But like, man, these are motherfucking projects these fools been invested in for years. And like, and it's cool to love what's hot, but like, that's the reason why I asked you that is because I feel like people need to find the roots. Like they need to find the ones that basically are going to be their stable for when it comes to breeding 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years down the road. You know what I mean? What
is one of the things? The best thing to do is to pick something that you like. If you like it, you're always going to enjoy working with that gene. One of the things that I love about these like I shouldn't say like, I guess these newer recessive genes. Not that puzzle's new, but it's much newer than, let's say, clown. Clown's been around for shit since what, 2000, something like that. So almost twice the amount of time. So that gives you, you know, we have to look at where puzzle will be 10 years from now. What are the combos we've been able to make with it 10 years from now? That's when you start to you know, because building to this point just takes forever. It's just tons of breeding and tons of holdbacks and tons of, you know, I'm just really excited to see, I'm just excited to see the stuff that comes out this year. Like, it's just, the thing that I like the most, I think, about puzzle is it's a lot of it's the unknown, you know, because so many people have worked clown combos. When I breed a specific clown, you know, they'll be insane clowns, but when I breed them together, I generally have a kind of an idea of what the combo should look like in my head. But with puzzle, because most of these combos have never been done, I don't even know what to expect with some of these clutches. So the puzzle clutches, when they hatch, I'm always kind of like, what is this? Like, I have to let it come out, shed, compare it to other stuff that I've made. You're on your own in some of these cases. So, but that's exciting too, right?
What would you say a rule of thumb is, Will, from your experience, like really trying to ID something fresh out of the egg? Like, how many sheds would you give it until you're really confident in what you're IDing?
Like 4.
Bro,
sometimes like breed it and then you'll know. But like, dude. Yeah, no, like that's one of the things. Like even in the egg, like I see some guys like, oh, this is a super orange dream fire yellow belly leopard pied in the egg. I'm like, bro, you see like this little patch of orange. Like, come on.
Okay, like guys, I'm excited. I'm a very excitable guy. Okay, and I was a fucking, Will's somebody, if he says like, yo, it's not what it is, and I'm like, all right, you need to calm down. Will's not gonna fucking cap on you like that. And I appreciate every time you've helped me out, Will, by the way.
Yeah.
But really, guys, I'm telling you, when you get that that combo that you're looking for and you really think you hit it, just trust me, give it a couple sheds, man. Just, sometimes it's really not hypo.
Your excitement lies to you sometimes. Your excitement can lie to you. It's happened to me a bunch of times.
Because you're lying to yourself. You like,
we hit it,
yeah. Oh my God.
But
Nailed it.
Yeah. Oh, we got it. And then it's just like, sometimes I've even like,
so funny.
Think you've hit like 5 of them. You're like, you're like, how did I get this odds? Then they come out, they shed. You're like, oh, I didn't even get close to those odds.
Right.
And then sometimes you hatch something and you think like, I don't think it has, like, for example, I hatched some, they're fire yellow belly spot nose. And I thought they were just fire yellow belly spot nose. And then after about 6 or 7 sheds, and it's like 400 or 500 grams, I'm like, dude, that thing, if there's orange dream in the pairing, and I'm like, this thing's got to be orange dream. And I sent some photos off to some guys that are working similar stuff. They're like, dude, I think it is. And a lot of it's like, that comes down to IDing stuff. That's even hard, man. Like a lot of this stuff is theoretical IDs. Like we don't really, how do you guarantee anything really? Like outside of pied and clown and like the recessive genes, you should be able to guarantee. And like, obviously there's certain genes. I can pretty well tell you any combo's got spider in it. But,
right.
But you get into like, this is a super orange dream fire yellow belly versus like a high intensity OD yellow belly. Like it's like, or is it just super OD yellow belly? That stuff gets really, really difficult. And so I like to, when I'm selling you these type of animals, I like to say to the person who's buying, like, here's the pairing. Do you agree with my identification? What do you think it is? Let's talk about this, because like sometimes I'm in the dark too on some of this stuff. This is the pairing. What do you think it is? Here's what I think it is. Why do you think this is what it is? This is why I think it is what it is. And then once you have that conversation, look, if it doesn't prove yellow belly, man, I'm sorry, but like we had this discussion. Yeah. You can't
be mad at me.
And dude, it's gonna get. People think that ID problem is a thing now, bro. This is just the beginning. Give it 5 years, man. Like look at Justin. He's doing the cracking, right? He's calling it something else, and he's like, if you ask him, like, what's in that snake? He's like, I don't really know. It looks insane. It's the craziest shit ever. But what is it? Well, here's the pairing. That's pretty much where we're at. I mean, Justin probably has a much better idea what's in it than anybody, right? But that's where we're going, and that's where it's going to head.
That's fucking funny. I want to ask the homie Adam's question, Beach Bum Exotics, because he's a homie and shit. So, but you want to go back real quick to the whole puzzles with Ozzy. But what do you think about the weirdo line of
that weirdo stuff? Yeah, man. So I don't know. I don't have any of it that I know of. I had the chaos stuff pop out of puzzle. It's definitely not the same thing. It's not the weirdo stuff. I've talked to Ozzy at great length with this. You know, mine, the chaos stuff certainly acts recessive, and the weirdo stuff doesn't seem to be a recessive gene. So it's like this, I don't know, but this puzzle just keeps throwing like these gifts that give back. You know, I don't know what's coming out of this. Some of the stuff sometimes, the weirdo stuff looks so cool. I almost bought one last year, but then, you know, I hummed and hawed about it, and by the time I called Ozzy, I was like, okay, I'll take it. He's like, it's gone, bros. So I'll end up with one eventually. I just need to get I'll probably bring it in as a mail so I can just inject it into everything else.
Now, Will, we're talking about how, ID and shit's is going to get worse as we progress, right?
For sure.
What are some of the projects that you just don't look forward to IDing? Like, is there anything off the top
that I don't look forward to IDing?
I'm sure you're like, fuck, I want to see what's in that egg, but you're like, I don't know, like, I'm not looking forward to trying to figure out what the fuck it is.
Oh man, like most of the pied stuff for me.
Yeah,
yeah, bro. Like the pieds, like especially when you get into crazy pieds. Like you get into like especially the super OD yellow belly fire leopard. Which
for real.
I don't know, man. It's like it's crazy looking. That's what I know. The pied stuff would be one of them. Some of the clown stuff is starting to get can be pretty challenging, especially when you get crazy, reactions with them.
Right.
Oh yeah. That's cool.
Let's talk about this pied real quick, because you're right. Like, only you would really know what the fuck's in this pied, right?
It's not even mine.
Yeah,
that's here on a breeding one.
It's insane. So what's in this snake right here?
Just orange dream yellow belly or orange dream gravel pied.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That thing is
cool though. It's really bright.
Yeah, it's you can tell. How big is that thing?
Probably 1,400 grams.
All right.
So pretty good size, keeping its color really well. But yeah, it's IDing stuff, dude. It gets very difficult. Very difficult.
Now, have you switched your game plan when it comes to breeding first-time females, or you've always stuck to the same thing? Like, where have you evolved from? Like waiting, as far as waiting a certain weight to pair.
It's not. I don't think it's a weight thing. I think it's knowing your animals, knowing knowing what's going on. This, if I have a female that was, I know every snake in the collection, so I feed them every week and clean them every week, water them every week. So I know what snakes are pounding food, what snakes are not. I know that this 1,200 gram female. That's thick and pounding food and like really pushing hard. It's like, okay, maybe I start to think about to breeding her. When I open the bin and the snake's like its head's right at the edge of the bin, you're like, okay, this thing's hungry. So I start feeding those girls, and I start giving them more food than what they want to eat. And then you have your 1,200 gram snakes that have no interest in eating and are in that like hunger strike. You should know the difference between like this is a 1,200 gram snake that is pounding food and looking for a meal versus the 1,200 gram snake that's sitting in the back of the tub with its head in its coils and not responding to food. That female's not going this year. She's going to chill. This female who's pounding food and showing sign, that's a much more likely scenario for her to go. So it's all situational. Some girls you can breed at 2 years old. Some girls won't go till they're 5. So it's just one of those things.
Okay. I'll tell you one thing that was throwing me off. It didn't throw me off, but it kind of gave me hope, right? Because last year I had a handful of girls last year that went for me the year before, but they didn't lay for me this year, or they didn't lay for me the current year, right? So I was just like, what the fuck, what's going on? So same thing this year, right? Those girls were kind of like, they're pounding food, they're getting locked, And I'm just like, like I told you earlier, like I have ovulations coming now, but still nothing from these girls, right? And I'm like,
Right.
are they not going to go for me again this year? And then it's funny. Shout out to the homie Antoine who just laid a sick ass super chat.
I saw that one, yeah.
The homie Antoine rolled through and fucking is like, hey, well, let's ultrasound some of your girls. He ultrasound those girls, and they're at like 5'10", millimeters, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
So in that case, that's good. Just keep pairing and feeding, right?
Yeah, 5 to 10 millimeters is fairly small. But yeah, keep pairing them, keep feeding. I mean, if I'm seeing when did you ultrasound them?
Shit, when was that, Antoine? Like that was like April.
Oh, it's April. Okay, so be interesting to see where they're at now because they can grow quite a bit in that time. But
yeah.
If I'm ultrasounding right now and I'm seeing stuff at like that 5-10 millimeter, I'm calling it quits for the year because from 5 millimeter, 10 millimeter, you're, I don't know, 3 months to a 25 mil on average, something like that, maybe 4 months. Then from there, that brings us what we're into July 1st. So July, August, September, October, and November. Then ovulate November to December. And then you're going to be getting your eggs January, end of January. Then you're not hatching those until beginning of March.
March, right.
So you're like a full year for breeding them now, almost a full year.
So I'm saying, you're saying you could do it. I mean, it's.
Yeah, you can do it.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I just thought it was crazy because, like I said, last year I thought, oh, they're not going to go. I just stopped and I didn't do anything. Where this year, same scenario. Like I was about to stop again until, Antoine came over, ultrasound. He said that there's something in there. So I was like, well, I'm going to fucking keep pairing then.
Yeah, I mean, there's generally always something there, right? You're like, no matter any time you ultrasound a female, you can have a female like literally pull her off a clutch of eggs, ultrasound her, and find follicles.
Right.
Then they're generally 0.5s.
Right.
They just always seem to have a string of follicles, but they're not going to, from 0.5. If I'm seeing stuff at 0.5 this late in the year, I just stop breeding them. Just stop running my males to the ground, and I just try and get them on food, and I start breeding them again in October.
Right. Respect.
But as far as Antoine's question, the sunset puzzle.
Yeah. Go.
Dude,
all right.
I don't know what to expect there. I have a funny feeling you're going to see a puzzle pattern. You may see sunset fighting with it. I honestly don't know what to expect. I don't have enough experience with sunset to. I've never hatched one, so I don't have enough experience with that to know what to expect. I mean, I can pretty well tell you what a sunset or a desert ghost puzzle or hypo puzzle or all that sort of stuff is going to do, just based on those are just color mutations going on it. But sunset's not necessarily sunset's a color mutation, but it also throws patterns. So it's not just as easy of a blanket like a desert ghost or a lavender or something like that. It could be wild. I look forward to seeing it.
Since we're talking about sunset, I mean, what's your honest view on sunset longevity wise? Like, where do you think sunset's going to go at some point? Do you feel like the price will stick at sunset? Do you feel like it's going to drop?
I mean, I don't think the prices are going very far anytime soon. It's a recessive gene. Not many people are producing them, especially in numbers. I think the demand's way higher than the supply. And, I've recently have seen some cool sunset stuff that, for a few years there, I was like, I wasn't sure. And I was offered some sunset stuff years ago and I turned it down. And that's one of the things I wish I hadn't have turned down. But I think sunset's got a big future. And, anyone who's got sunset and has the ability, like get it into lavender. I think I think that could be insane. And then obviously, put it in desert ghost.
Of course.
That's sick. Come on. That's the one sunset combo I'm like the most excited to see, because it could just like make sunset what you want sunset to be, Do
you know anyone who's close to doing that, or where's that at right now?
I think Justin. I'm gonna guess Justin.
Jeez,
bro. Like if anyone ever says like, do you know anyone that's gonna do that soon? I'm like, yeah, call Justin. He's probably got a breeder female already. Like it's just like I don't know how he does it, but years of planning and breeding at a very high level.
You're making any DG sunsets soon?
Who's that for, Justin?
Yeah, he might eat something. He's hit me up this late before, so we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully it works. All right, that's cool because I mean, I can tell you right now, man, sunset is something that for me at first I was like, what? Like 50 grand? And you know, that's when I first saw it, right? And and then I started seeing in combos and shit. And like from what I am understanding, man, like it could be done right in this certain combo, like as far as, like, looking good throughout its life, you know, versus like people thinking it's gonna brown out or whatever. I don't. It's different.
People are so quick to dismiss something. Like I find that this industry does that like that. There's you see like 4 sunset combos, and you're like, nope, sunset sucks. And it's like, dude, you haven't seen even remotely what it can do. If we dismissed clown off the first 4 combos, like, come on, you know, now look at clown. Now look what it's capable of. So I adopt the mindset of like everything can do something cool. You just have to like find the right genes, and that's what comes down to you as a breeder to plan and try and like, you know, plan the logistics throughout your collection of how these projects will tie into other projects. But you know, a lot of people think this is a race. I don't look at anything. I don't look at it like a race. I just want to make the stuff. Now, I don't care about making it first. I just want to make the stuff because I've been working hard to develop these projects. And what am I going to see when I finally get that result? I don't know.
And I think we talked about this before because, you know, no matter who makes what, it's your quality. It's your shit. It's nobody else's. You know,
for sure.
It'll be different.
You know, but with sunset, I think there's tons of room for that to do stuff. We've seen, realistically, what do you think, guys? How many different sunset combos do you think we could write down on a piece of paper that have been produced? 20? Maybe 20? Maybe even if you said 30. You know, you include like pastel sunset.
I know there's a few now. I know there's
pastel lesser something. Yeah, but name them. Like, and we're not even into like the crazy stuff yet.
Spider, the homie Oliver Rourke or whatever. He had a spider fucking orange dream.
Yeah.
Fucking starburst with cream. I don't know. He had a bunch of shit in his fucking sunset, which was crazy.
But look at how many combos have been done. Like, yeah, Josh. So exactly 30 max. Let's say there's been 30. Let's just use 30 as an easy number. 30 different sunset combos have been made total industry wide. And if we look at how many clown combos have been made total, thousands. You know, so we're looking at such a tiny little sliver of what that gene's capable of doing. And it's oh, hey, what's up, Mark? But yeah,
Mark
it's just,
Mark
Mandic.
Where's he at? No way.
Yeah,
oh,
man.
That is too hard. Hell, Mark Mandic in the building. Wasn't ready for that one. Celebrity appearance award to the big homie.
Yeah, there it is.
Sorry, Cleo.
That's the one. But I think we're just looking at this tiny little sliver of like combos that people have seen, and you know, you have to learn how the gene works, and you know, oh, this doesn't work with it, or this does work with it. But I just think people see a combo that may not be represent that gene the best, and they're quick to just be like, nope, done. I don't want this gene. It sucks. It's like, okay, but that's very narrow-minded thinking.
Right, man. So since we have, you know, the big homie Marcus in the building, I know he was one of the guys in the beginning who you really kind of looked up to, right?
Yeah, man. Now, even still, like this year, I got a couple clutches of slugs this year, and I got 2 slug clutches back to back, and like early clutches. They were like my first clutches of the season. And I was like, uh-oh. And I called Marcus, like, dude, is this normal? And he's like, dude, chill the fuck out. You're fine. Right. And just like talk me off the ledge, you know. It's just like, uh-oh. But no, and he's right. Everything's cool. Everything's good. Just those 2 girls, like, dude.
You know, Marcus shares the good and the bad, which is dope. You know, I feel like, you know, why wouldn't you want to share your losses? Because that's what brings the wins. You know, when people always put a persona that like, hey, look, you know, boom, boom, boom. You know, and I'm not just saying ball pythons, but like chondro clutches, like anybody's success came with a lot of losses, like, or it came with some sort of loss or sacrifice.
Absolutely. Like, I mean, Mark's one of those guys that had to figure everything out on his own. Like he's legit an OG in the industry, and there was no breeding guide for him. There was no YouTube videos for him to watch. There was figure this shit out. And hats off to the guys that did that. That's crazy.
You want to get motivated real quick? I want to get motivated real quick.
Yeah,
just real quick, if you guys don't mind. This won't take long. But since we're talking about the homie Marcus, I was on his Instagram not too long ago, and he posted something. And I'm a morning guy, right? So I would not.
Oh yeah, dude.
Not wait to fucking have a morning like this someday.
Yep.
This is just living, all right. And he's not even going to show off his snakes right now. This isn't even snake stuff, all right. Look at that German Shepherd. Look at that backyard. Oh my God. I could just see myself chilling. Look at that.
Yeah, bro. It's got a beautiful place. Beautiful spot.
And you've been here, huh? Right?
Many times, yeah.
Oh, look at this, bro.
Yeah, Mark only lives about 40 minutes from me, so he's fairly close.
We're gonna have to watch this whole thing because this is just motivating to me, bro. And then he likes to. The one thing about Marcus, he likes to cook, and I love to cook. And his fucking his chef area, where it's like where he gets down. Like, look at this, man. Gotta have a Traeger. Traeger's number one.
Yeah.
Oh my, look at that. Look at that.
It's insane, dude. And then he's got a little garden.
Look at his
little herbs and stuff. Yeah.
Just pluck whatever he needs.
Yeah.
Calls it a night. Drink some wine with the wife and come on Trap Talk for round 2. That's just how it goes down.
Yeah, I get him back on. Yeah.
So sick, dude. Oh, shout out to Marcus Jane. But like talking about Marcus, like, I mean, where do you feel like he stands with some of the pioneer genes that he's worked with that have kind of motivated you to this day? Dude,
I mean, like definitely very high up there. Like when I was getting started, Mark was like the guy, like especially here in Canada, and it's everything he made was insane. I actually was talking to him the other day, and I said to him, I was like, look, yo, we when I was starting, when you saw a Marcus Jane post on the Reptiles Canada or Bush League, that was like, oh shit, what did he do? And it just consistently makes good looking snakes, like it's just nonstop. So huge shout out to Mark for that, man. He's just that's everything with class.
All right, so I could tell you one of the main topics of tonight's session here, Will, is I had a previous Canadian breeder on, and we were talking about ASFs and stuff like that, and he was strong. He was pretty strong opinion on how ball python females thrive clutch wise better off ASFs and whatnot. And I can't recall what it was that you feed your snakes. What is it that you feed all ASFs or rats?
I'm not feeding all ASFs, rats. How many? So I don't know who that was, but I'd be curious to know what sort of experience level.
I mean, I don't want to say any name. JP, I don't want to say any name.
Yeah, Jordan, you mentioned he's breeding ASFs, but I mean, to say that they're throwing bigger clutches off of ASFs, Jordan's a great guy, but I mean, come on, man. I don't know. I don't know how you quantify that data, especially when you say now if you did a full season on ASFs and then another full season, let's call it 50 clutches a season, back and forth, one on ASFs, one on rats, would you get better production here or there? I don't know. The beauty about rats is they're not such a pain in the ass to breed. So Mark's at 100% rats here. Yeah, same. Right. I mean, I have some ASF eaters, so I breed a small amount of ASFs just to feed those. But as far as it goes, man, I see no issue with the rodents. I mean, I know, so Mark's feeding straight rats. I'm feeding straight rats. I believe Ozzy feeds primarily rats. I know Justin feeds primarily rats. Rats, mice, ASFs. I just find the rats are way, way easier to
maintain.
The beauty about rats is that female's pregnant, take her out, give her her own bin. She can raise her pups. If you do that with an ASF, you put it in the wrong bin when you put it back, they kill them. They kill them. If they kill each other, they're just psycho little
colony
vampire little things.
They're super Facebook groupie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. You leave and you come back and you get ripped apart. But
sorry.
But yeah, the rats are just fine easier. Within about 4 weeks, you're growing stuff. You're growing stuff to smalls. 3 weeks with the mom, and then I pull them off at end of week 3. They get another week in their own grow out tub, and they're generally about 75 grams by that point. I just pull that number out of my ass. I have no idea. I never weigh a rat, so I have no idea. I just look at the rat, look at the snake. You're like, yeah, this looks right. Throw it in.
I mean, after a while, you get the idea. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Hello,
you know when you pick up a rat, you look at the snake, you're like, there's no way. This is a bad idea. But you just feed appropriate size meals, and you're good.
And you've never had males just strictly on mice by choice. You've always had your males on
correct,
mice.
not by choice. If by choice, everything ate a rat every single week.
Right.
I think that's everybody's by choice. But it's not the case, obviously.
I inquired an adult, and not to say that this breeder was like, capping or anything, but I inquired an adult male breeder, ball python, and he was only, like I was told, he's only on mice, and he was raised that way because, they become better breeders, quote unquote. But I was like, well, let me just see if he takes a rat. Because to me, like I said, I have all my males who smash rats, always been on rats, and they're fucking savages. They're fucking like, straight fucking Lex Luthers of my breeding room. So they don't. So I'm thinking, like, if I could get a snake on rats and be up to par with everything else, why not? Now, give or take, I was kind of like concerned. I was like, oh great, like I need the snake to breed for me this year. What if it does go on rats and it's just a lazy fucker? But that didn't happen at all. It actually took a rat, a small one. I didn't,
I'm always weary when someone says that. Like, I feed them like just. Oh, thanks, Mark. Have a good one, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks for being here.
So I'm always like a little bit like skeptical when someone would say something like, okay, I feed them mice because they're better breeders on mice. It's like, how do you know that? Like, where is that coming from? Did you raise 2 snakes on mice and those 2 specific snakes turned to be better breeders and you had 2 that weren't? Well, you only raised 4 snakes. Raise another. Do that 100 times and tell me which one, and it's going to be 50-50. I don't think food source, especially in captivity, really matters all that much. I mean, obviously, don't starve them or overfeed them or anything, but rats, ASFs, mice, feed them what you want.
Right. Okay. And you breed your own rats, right?
Correct.
Okay. Now let's talk about what you have going on with your facility, man, because I know you have a bit of an expansion and whatnot. Now, is this for the ball pythons or for the rodents, or what's going on with this expansion here?
This is the ball pythons.
Right.
So we built three years ago now. Things have grown very, very quickly. It's just been almost overwhelming. So we've decided to double the size of the building. Right now we're in a 24 by 32, so we're adding another 24 by 32 onto it. That'll put us at a 48 by 32 building for snakes.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you keep the rats in?
Actually, I'm actually working on that too. So this is another project. But right now they're in a outbuilding. But I'm looking for a school portable. Like, those school portables? I'm looking for one of those because they come standard 24 by 32 insulated.
The ones on wheel, like it's kind of like a trailer, like it's on wheels.
Not on wheels, but they're on like piers. You set the building down on the piers. You can build a staircase up to it. You can drive a tractor up to it. And like I don't know if you guys have them in the States. They're like when you go to school. If they're school,
I know
they normally have
like
portables.
There's like a ramp you walk up, right, to go to the door.
Yeah, some of them. That's just wheelchair accessibility, I think. But
yeah,
I think that's all that is. But yeah, I'm looking for one of those because a lot more space. Yeah. And they come insulated and they're not that crazy expensive. So,
I mean, how many times have you expanded since starting back in 2012 or 10? No, 2010. Right?
First breeding season, I think, was 2010. Yeah.
Okay, so like how much have you had to expand? Would you say since then?
Every year.
Damn.
No, like you get a little bit bigger every year and a little bit bigger, and it depends. Some years you say kind of flat. So for the first 8 years, it was just sort of like a learning curve and all this stuff. And then over the last few years, the last 5 years, it's been like, all right, we started to ramp up production. And, one thing like you have to do is don't come into this and be like, I'm year 3, I'm doing 90 clutches. It's like, dude, that's a lot. And like, if you did 12 the year before and the next year you're 90, like you're not really prepared for that. And a lot of people say, no, I'll be fine. And maybe they will be, but just be prepared. It's a lot of work. It's not, you know, a lot of people see the sort of the glorified side of the industry. Like, oh, wow, these guys, like, you know, are making so much money and they have all these snakes and they have all this cool stuff. But that's not necessarily all truth. There's tons of hours spent cleaning and doing the rats. And, you know, are you prepared to be buying rat food by the pallet at a time and feeding off, you know, breeding 350, 400, 500 rats a week? You're prepared to be doing that? Or, you know, it depends where you want to be. What do you want to produce? I think the boutique market, you know, sub 40 clutches, but 40 like kick-ass clutches is an extremely profitable model.
I was gonna say that could take you far, bro. Just like,
oh
just
yeah, dude.
30.
Oh
like,
yeah, you can do some banger stuff out of a 30 bin rack.
If you're making heat that people want to fuck with, and you know, I'm just saying, like, dude, even that could take you far. Like, I'm telling you,
dude, 100%. You can make some amazing stuff out of a one single rack. Like, amazing stuff. And if you have one rack, it's 40 animals. So it's 40 animals. Let's say they're all mature. They're all going to go. You're probably going to get 28 to 30 of those to go every year. So you're getting 28, 30 clutches out of one rack. And man, that's, you know, times that by 6. It's a lot of babies.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. I mean, you started off like your first, so 2010, you had how many clutches again?
Oh, like 3.
So 3, right? And then each year progressed to what? Like,
then it was like 3 to like 8, and then 8 to maybe 12. And then I think it was the jump was 12 to maybe like 18. And then we did like 25, 25, 26.
Now, do you remember
35, 40, 50, 60, 70.
Now, do you remember like in the beginning years, like saying to yourself, I could get to this number, but I'm just going to chill at this? Like, what was the game plan for you then? Like, why were you only doing
the game plan was just to get fucking eggs, man. I didn't know. It was just like, we don't know what the hell we're doing, you know? It's like,
true.
Half the time it's like, now it's like, okay, let's try and do 80 clutches. Let's try and do 100 clutches. But before, it wasn't just like, how many can I get? It was like, can I just get something to go? You know, even sub 20 clutches, I was kind of like, you know, what's going to go, what's not. The ultrasound helps, but, you know, the ultrasound can lie to you too. You can see stuff, oh, it's 28 mil. Oh, resorbed. Fuck.
Damn.
You know?
Now, what's behind what's the what do you think, what's behind reabsorbing? Like, what do you think causes that? I mean, do you feel like it's just a fucking Mother Nature type shit, or do you feel like the
I don't know.
What do you think?
I have no idea. I don't even have like a theory. I just know it sucks. They probably, I don't know if they got enough food. Maybe it's a food related thing. Maybe they weren't on ASS. That's why. Maybe that's what's up. You know, that's probably what it is. But
oh shit, that was a good one.
No, I honestly don't know. I mean, it happens regardless. It's going to happen to everybody. Yeah, man. Who knows?
And then would you say on the average, how many females do that to you each year? Or is it sometimes you get 0?
Not many. No, we definitely get them every year. I would say somewhere in the, I don't know, 4 females maybe.
And but then
not tons.
You're also breeding how many girls each year?
I mean, this year about 130. Next year probably 180 to 200, something along those lines.
So sick. That's
sick. And it's like a lot of it's homegrown, like our own holdbacks have just been, it's a slow grind, but you get there and like, dude, I'm really excited. I just like, this year is going to be really cool. Really, really cool. With some good luck, it could be, wow, like crazy stuff. As far as I'm concerned, I think it's crazy. Other people might not like it.
Now you're always thinking a few years down the road, right, Will? Like mentally, or like with your project.
Try to, yeah.
You try to.
Always.
What would you say? What's the furthest down you are right now? You would say mentally.
I don't know. Like, see, that depends. It's not necessarily. I would say probably 2, maybe 3 or 4 years. And it's not necessarily. When I say 4 years, that sounds insane. People are like, how the hell can you know what you're going to have in 4 years? You don't. But I know that I'm lined up to do these pairings over the next, 2 years. And then I should be able, if I hit a male, and again, this is all like if everything goes perfectly, which it never ever does. But, right. I try to, the thing I enjoy the most, well, obviously the animals and seeing what happens, the genetics and all that stuff is awesome. But I really enjoy like the building a collection, the logistics behind it. Like, how, if I want to do, I can give an example, a genetic striped clown on a decent level, and I want to like not necessarily like for business purposes or monetary reasons, but just I want to see what can I do with G-stripe clown, what can I do, what can I add to this project to really make it cool for me.
Right.
I'm going to look at like, okay, I have my G-stripes, I have my clowns, and every year leading up for the first 3 years building that project, I'm going to pick up a new clown male with some genes, because generally clown is going to be the gene, the male you can get with the most relevant or cool genes in it. So I take up that male clown, I pop it into those G-stripes, I hatch my first batch of double heads. Then I start growing those double heads. The following, as that male's breeding, that clown male's breeding, and I'm making my first batch of double heads, I start looking for a new clown male. And so I look for a new, what else can I find in clown? I bring that in, and I go into G-stripe. Now I have my second batch of double heads. And I'm trying each year to put new genes, not the same genes year after year, new genes every year. And, third year, different clown male. Now I have 3 different years of crazy double hat combos, and just slap them back together and see what happens.
Right.
Pretty much. I love that. Like, as I'm hatching something over here, I know that this animal is going to work with the project over here, and these projects, they build up side by side, but at some point they tie together and continue on. And that's the tricky part. Especially, you have to really pay attention to it with triples, because triple recessives, I want combo double heads of each of those doubles. So if it's something like a hypo clown pied, I want to have double head hypo clowns combos, double head clown pied combos, and double head hypo pied combos. So that as I'm working that, I can make hypo clown het pieds and hypo pied het clowns and clown pied het hypos, and that's what these projects all build up, that they all tie together and continue on.
Right.
Yeah, easier said than done, and it doesn't always work. So.
Now, I have another question, man, because, you have some snakes that give you like 10 eggs, like, let's say, right? Good clutch, right? How often are they going from like 10 eggs to 4 eggs to like, or just like crazy jump?
Generally they don't. Generally like a 10 egger gives you 9 to 11. A 6 egger gives you 5 to 7. But I don't see like a snake that gives you like 11 eggs give you 4 the next year. If you get 4, it's generally accompanied by 7 slugs. So she tried to do 11, but she only produced 4. Right?
Now, does that go the same with slugs? Like, do you have snakes that like typically like, for instance, you said the first 2 clutches slugged out for you, right? And did they lay you solid clutches the year before, or?
No, neither of them went the year before.
So they didn't go the year before. They laid the year, but then they gave you slugs this year.
Yeah.
Okay. And are they first timers, or?
No, the one girl is actually proven. It was a height. As your clutches get better and better, it starts to sting more and more when you get these slugs. So one of the pairings was the Orange Dream Yellow Belly Fire Spot Nose Clown male to a hypo clown female. So that would have been some really nice clown head hypos, and she slugged out. And then the next one was a lace clown to a fire yellow belly het clown, and she slugged out. So those 2, those would have been 2 really nice clutches to have. But take it as it goes.
The other homie, excuse me, Adam has another question real quick, and and it's something that I wanted to ask too, because I have a big question with Cryptic, but
Okay.
he wants to know what the plan is with Cryptic and Clown for you, with you working with
Krypton. That's it for me. I'll make some Cryptic stuff, but the way that I look at the Cryptic and Krypton Clown, and so in my opinion, you cannot tell a Cryptic from a Krypton. Can't tell them apart. No matter whether it's pastel or enchi or whatever, can't tell them apart. They look the exact same. So if you're getting the exact same look, why not have them all be het clown? No one ever hated a het clown. Het clowns are awesome to have. And if you work Krypton with your clown stuff, you can start to use a Krypton male to drastically increase your odds, especially when you're getting into double recessive stuff, on how to like really push forward with the project. So for example, give me an example. Hypocrypton, right? I take a hypocrypton male. I would prefer the me personally, I prefer the hypocrypton male over a hypocryptic male. Now, because I can build both projects at the same time, whereas with the hypocryptic male, I can't. I can only build the cryptic. It becomes more difficult to start building the clown stuff in. Well, I guess to bring it to a clown, make the Krypton. But anyways, having a hypocrypton male, let's say I have my, I don't know, give me a het clown combo. Leopard spot nose, okay?
Spot nose, yeah.
So I have a leopard spot nose het clown. Now, normally, if I was using a hypo het clown and breeding to a leopard spot nose het clown, I could pick out 1 in 4 in that clutch. I could pick out the clowns. Outside of that, they were the clown het hypos, and then everything else would have been het hypo and 66% het clown.
Right.
Now, when I use the hypocrypton to that same female, I'm now picking out half of the clutch because I'm picking out the kryptons and I'm also picking out the clowns, right? So I can pick out, obviously you can pick out the clowns and you're also picking out the kryptons. When you have a krypton with clown in the pairing, as long as there is clown in the pairing, that's going to be a krypton, right? So you bring your krypton, hypocrypton to a het clown. Now I can pick out the clowns and the kryptons. So what ends up happening is normally you might hit a leopard spot nose female, and you're like, well, she's het hypo, but she's 66% het clown. Do I keep it? And with the krypton, now you start to run into the thing where you're hitting leopard spot nose krypton, so you know it's het clown, and it's also 100% het hypo. You now can pluck that female out of the clutch with 100% certainty and say that is a leopard spot nose double het hypo clown. Also, all the other stuff that would have normally been 66% het is now either het clown or het cryptic, and it's all het hypo. So you grow that stuff up, and as long as you pair it to a clown, you'll prove it out first clutch. If you breed clown to these het cryptic or het clowns, all het hypo again, so it's such an easy way to work the project because I'm building the clown project alongside the cryptic project, because I will make het cryptics on the, they're going to be het clown or het cryptic, but as long as I take a clown to prove those out, I can instantly say she's het clown or she's het cryptic, and you're just like, next thing you know, oh cool, she didn't prove het clown, but I know she's het cryptic. That's a leopard spot nose double het hypocryptic. Boom. Just figured it, it's easy. It takes a little bit of thinking, but to run through it. But once you run through it like that, it's like, wait a second.
Bro, you just said, boom, it's easy after you just went on a crazy fucking rant right now, which is you went so in detail. I respect. But don't tell me that shit was easy, because that right now my mind's still like it's all processing. But
yeah, it takes a little bit once you really put it on paper and you kind of plan it out. Now I start to use, so we hatched an Orange Dream Yellow Belly Fire Spot Nose Krypton het Desert Ghost.
Right.
So this male's he's het DG. I don't need to breed him to DG clown. I mean, obviously, if you do, you can make it's stupid shit. But if I take that Krypton boy and breed him into, let's say, a GHI desert ghost. So I'm now breeding orange ring, yellow belly, fire, spot nose, Krypton, het desert ghost to a GHI het desert ghost. There's no clown in the pairing. I won't make any more Kryptons. But any desert ghosts I make from that are guaranteed to be either het cryptic or het clown. As long as I breed them, those offspring back to a clown, you figured out whether it's het clown or whether it's het cryptic instantly. And then you can pivot from there. Once you know what it is, you're like, okay, cool. But you build your clown and your cryptic project at the same time. And then you can branch off and do whatever you want.
How far back does cryptic go that you could recall? Like, is cryptic an OG gene, or is that something?
Apparently it was. I just didn't know it was there. First desert ghost female I ever got. 2009, probably like that. She's het cryptic. Wow. Who the fuck would have known? Right?
Fuck it. Add it to the ultrasound. Fucking
so
shit.
Here's a good example of how you can use Krypton stuff. Once you know a female's het cryptic, I'm using it as a cheat to pick out my het clowns. So it's a desert ghost het cryptic. She's actually ovulated and she's ready to go. She's a big girl too. So she's 10 years old. So I think she made 13 eggs last year. So I'm hoping for another batch like that. But basically, she's a desert ghost het cryptic. I bred her to a black pastel red stripe, double het desert ghost clown. So I half the clutch is desert ghost, and then I have a 1 in 4 for anything that's Krypton in that clutch. I can, without certainty, say this is a either a double het desert ghost clown or it's a desert ghost het clown. I with certainty, and that's breeding. You know, I'm not even breeding het clown to het clown and picking this stuff out. Like, it's once you get your head around it, it's like a very, very, very effective way to build a project.
I mean, at this point, Will, how many? I mean, fuck, I'm scared to ask this question, but how many genes altogether are a part of your projects? Like, have you ever written that down? Like, do you have a tally? No idea.
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot. Yeah.
Over 100?
No, not that many. Probably not that many.
Okay.
I don't know. That's actually a really good question. I'm gonna say 50.
I'm known for my good questions. Don't trip.
50 different genes, something along those lines.
Damn.
Yeah.
And to think it all started with one.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's crazy, right? It's insane.
Now, to keep the topic going with genetics and stuff, man, I could tell you something that just rubbed me the wrong way with fucking keeping ball pythons. And, you know, it's nothing that it is what it is. It's kind of like, you know, snakes that reabsorb on you. It's part of the game. But genes that are allelic to each other. What the fuck's that all about, man? Because you do have some legit scenarios, and then you have some scenarios that are like, what? I don't see that. But there's a lot of back and forth going on. You know, like, for instance, Mahogany and Stranger was one that I saw. Who'd I see it on? Antoine. Shout out to them, Antoine. High Desert Pipeline. Yeah. But, you know, that was one, right? So, I mean, when did you run into that? Like, and what's your view on that?
What's my view on allelic combos, or what's my view on Mahogany and Stranger?
Well, let's intro into, like, let's talk about the allelic combo, and then let's talk about what you think of Mahogany and Stranger.
Allelic combos are actually very cool. We've just finished talking about clown and cryptic. Those are allelic. That's an allelic expression, and you can use that allelic expression to pick out, because it's allelic, you're able to kind of treat clown like a sort of like a codon, if that makes sense. Right. But some of the allelic combos are insane. You know, you get into highways, freeways, the chocolate spot nose, man. One of my favorite allelic combos. I think that has so crazy amount of potential. That Dark Knight stuff is just, holy smokes, man. There's gonna be some really cool stuff. Some of these allelic combos, like, I can give you one that I thought, as soon as I saw the combo, I was like, that's allelic, and it wasn't. GHI Mojave. I had that's one that you look at and you're like, that should be an allelic combo. It's so different from what you expect. You look at a GHI, you look at a Mojave, look at a yellow belly, look at an asphalt. You know, how did you get this from these two snakes?
Right.
So when you see like extreme results, that's generally when you start to question whether they're on the same allele. But I mean, I feel no ways about allelic combos. Just it's just kind of cool. Another workaround.
Does it
allelic combos? No, I don't
Are
think
you
so.
a project in any way? You think?
I don't think so. I mean, the mahogany and stranger. First of all, we haven't proven shit. So
Right.
nothing's been proven. We just made the combo. So
I think
I don't know. People are calling it's allelic. I mean,
yeah, people that's one. Okay, from what I'm seeing, Will, like you have a lot of people who aren't as, established into this industry yet, and they are either invested in one or the other, and they're super passionate and gun-ho about their opinion on it because of their investment versus
I can see that.
That's why I want to ask you, because I know you just keep it real on it. So
I mean, I don't know what to think. I don't think they're the same gene. I think they're definitely they definitely throw similar results. I've said it a few times that I think what you're going to end up with is something like a black pastel cinnamon situation, where they're different genes quite clearly. They make a lot of the similar combos, but they can also branch off and do their own thing.
Right.
So some of these stranger clown combos, I think it's a bit of a reach to say like, oh, that looks just like a mahogany clown. And I've been on both sides of this fence. I've been like, you know what? I picked up Stranger last year, well aware of the potential of it being allelic with mahogany. I have mahogany as well. But I don't worry about that kind of stuff, to be honest with you, whether it's the same or whether it's not, like Wookiee and chocolate. Again, I don't really worry whether you think, oh, Wookiee's going to dive in price. It's like, where my head's at is not, I'm trying to make a Stranger or I'm trying to make a Wookiee. What's the difference? What's really the difference in price between a mahogany yellow belly spot nose desert ghost clown versus Stranger yellow belly spot nose desert ghost clown? What's the difference in price? There isn't one. They're both just astronomical, because how do you, what's the difference in price between a Wookiee Enchi red stripe clown and a chocolate Enchi red stripe clown? There's not going to be much. As you get really crazy with these projects, they start to level off. And so I don't really worry about, I think everybody, I think everybody just work with what you like. And if it's not within your budget, then that's the beauty about this, is you can get similar results for a little bit cheaper if that's what you choose to do. Or, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. I have both, working with both. See what happens.
now, what's your experience with yellow belly and gravel? You've worked a lot with both?
No, yellow belly. I don't work with much outside of yellow belly.
Okay.
So I don't really do the super asphalts or the gravels or the pumas. A little bit of super stripe, but
because those could be hard to ID too, right? Sometimes at a snake that, because people put possible yellow belly or gravel all the time, right? But I feel like after a while, somebody should have a good eye on what's a gravel versus a yellow belly. But
yeah, hard to know. I don't think you can have a good idea on what's a gravel or a yellow belly. I think because they're so similar in their base form, there is no way that if we took a bag, let's a bag of 100, and we put Spectres, Sparks, Asphalt, gravels, and yellow bellies, 20 of each in the bag, there's 0% chance that you're picking out 2020, 2020. No chance.
right.
No way. You're probably going to pick a mixed bag in each 20. And so when you're doing that, it says you can't pick them out.
Right.
So, yeah. But I like those projects. The highway, that super gravel clown, our RP. Dude, that thing's crazy. And Sterling made one last year, right? Earlier this year. Just like, what?
Yes, somebody just made something with the super gravel clown that was like fucking intense, and I can tell you that's when things really level up with that shit.
Sterling made one last year. Sterling Nelson. He made one, and it was incredible. Great project. And I know Dorian is going to be making some of that stuff soon. I hope maybe I shouldn't have said that. But he's going to be making some of that super gravel climb stuff.
Way to go, Will. Spill the beans.
He's got some cool stuff coming, bro. I'm telling you.
Pay
attention.
What are we talking about here? Can we go ahead and sound that name one more time so I can look him up?
Dorian, Royal Clutch.
Royal Clutch?
Yep.
All right, bring him up.
He's got some cool stuff coming. And he's hiding a lot of it.
If Will's gonna so it's the Royal Clutch. I'm actually following the homie. Tight. All right.
Good dude too.
Hold on. You know, like I said, if Will's gonna talk about it, then we're gonna look it up real quick. This is how we're gonna do things, man. And this guy's out of Canada too?
No.
Okay. Dorian Starks. Here we go. Yeah, he's a USARC member. Appreciate that. But right on. Let's look what he got. Oh yeah, he got some heat.
He's got some nice stuff there.
He's got anything for you?
He has. Yeah, that puzzle's for me.
Where's the puzzle at?
Go down.
Down?
Yeah. Right there. Up.
Right here?
On the right hand side. Right there.
Nice.
That's a puzzle.
Wow.
But he's got some cool stuff coming, man. There's a bunch of guys, man, that are just like, staying a little quiet, and that's my kind of style. I like that. Just work on what you got. When it's time to show stuff, then you get to show it off.
Stay in your lane. Do you, boo boo?
That's it, man.
And you just have fun. You have fun doing it like that. You know what I mean?
And you meet such good people, and just like enjoy that. The loudest person in the room is not necessarily the best one to talk to.
Right, I can tell you that much. Yeah, they're not the one to learn from either.
It can be.
Case by case, right? But somebody who's like, I feel like so many people put high expectations because of the animals they buy. They expect to get this huge like respect and following right off the bat. But it's like, it's just kind of takes a little bit more than that. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
A lot of people are coming in with money. You know what I mean? But a lot of people don't stick around either.
Yeah,
So
at the same time, I don't hate on people that come in with money, because somebody that comes in with money was obviously successful somewhere else in order to get that money. So I'm not going to hate on anyone. You come in with $10 million and buy up all the snakes in the world. Awesome. Go for it. Like, I honestly hope that you do well. But it's, there's a learning curve no matter what. Raising a Desert Ghost clown is the same as raising a normal. It's the exact same thing. One just looks nicer to look at. But they're the same snake. They're still species, right? It's not any different.
All right, bro. So my biggest meat and potato topic of this whole session, man, is going to be the business side of things, Will, because I could tell you right now, I went to Schaumburg, right? And, oh, man, respect. I got so many people who came up to me and was like, dude, I fuck with your show. Thank you so much. And I actually talked to a couple, literally a couple different scenarios of guys who were like, man, I fucking so motivated to make money off this shit. Like, I quit my job. And I'm like, wow, really? He's like, yeah, I got a room, I got set up. I've been thinking about this for yada, yada, yada. And I can tell you right now, like before this conversations I had at Schaumburg, I can already tell you right now, ball python game is picking up. It's getting big. People are getting into this, not for conservation. They're getting into this because they want to make some fucking money into this, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's the truth. And people hate to hear that truth, but it is, man. Like you're not investing in stickers and a brand and a logo and all this shit to be like, oh, yeah, I'm just keeping this to prove out this morph and keep it forever. No, man, you're here to make some fucking money. Like, let's be real. But a lot of things come to play with when making money in ball pythons. Like, you waited how long, and you still have a job, right? You still work with the company you've been with for a minute, right?
Not much, but yeah,
right. But how long did it take for you to kind of realize, like, okay, I could actually do that risk and take that risk of doing more?
Dude, a long time.
Right.
A long time, and the cards have to fall right. And I guess it totally depends on your personal circumstance. What do you want to make? Where's your ambition? Where's your bar set? Is your bar set at making $5 million? So you better, just keep that day job. Is your bar set at making $50,000? That's extremely doable for some of these guys. Again, it comes down to this thing is like kind of like a line graph, and one axis represents time and one represents money. The more money you put in, the less time it takes to become profitable. Well, sorry, that's not necessarily true.
Right.
The more money you put in, the less time that you have to put in. Now, the less money you put in, the more time you have to put in. Now, if you can put in money and time you're setting yourself up for there you go. You're setting yourself up for some pretty cool stuff. But again, it's not just put in money and everything's going to work, or put in time and everything's going to work. There's a lot of work to this, you know.
I mean, we're just talking about how, you know, snakes reabsorb. Like, what are you going to do about that? You know, like nothing's guaranteed in this shit. It's not, like, especially, you know, if something went one way one year, dude, there's no guarantee that shit's going to happen for you again the next year.
Oh, dude.
It can, don't get me wrong, but like,
yeah, very unlikely though. Yeah, like, you know, even some of this, what I think is going to happen is we're going to start to see some combos that are made once.
Right.
Make them again. You know, you hit 1 in 256 odds. You could spend the next 5 years just trying to remake that one same combo, and the odds are so stacked against you. You need to put down a lot of friggin' eggs to start doing that. And again, and there's not different levels, but I guess different. Where is your market? Everybody should identify what they want to be selling, what price point they want to be selling at, how they want to be selling. Do they want to do the show circuit? A lot of guys make a very good living doing the show circuit, traveling to every show, vending shows, doing all that stuff. I don't personally like doing that. It's a lot of work. It's tons of work. But then do you want to be selling at a very, very high level, very, very expensive animals? It's, you know, that takes a long time to build up to that, to be able, look, lots of people can make a very expensive animal. It's how many people can make those animals consistently and be prepared to release them, to be able to sell them. I have that issue still where, I make something that I'm like, everybody's like, dude, they throw money at you. I want it. I'm like, yeah, but I want it. You know, I have it. It's mine. Fuck off. This is mine. I'm keeping this. You know, it's just the truth. I don't love shows. I love shows. I don't love vending shows. I don't like being chained to the table. I think that there's a huge, some guys produce 1,000 clutches and sell just wholesale lots of snakes off. That's a business model that they want to do. Do you want to sell that $500 to $1,500 range, or the $1,000 to $5,000 range, or $10,000 to $20,000? There's snakes that are there, but those are going to be very hard to make, and just I won't even sell the animals I have for sale. Yeah, it's true.
What happened?
I had listed something on our Patreon about that, something that was for sale. He came over, started asking me questions about it, and he talked me into keeping it. And I was like, okay, fine, I'm keeping it. So yeah, just long story. But yeah, man, there's tons of different levels to this. And you can fluctuate between levels. I still produce lots of a couple $100 animals, but I also produce lots of $5,000 animals. So there's that. Depends what you want to do.
No, I mean, with all due respect to people wanting to, get a jump on things, as far as, following, that's nothing wrong. Like, they want to get a big following, they want attention, right? But like, when do you feel like that's really important? Like,
it's not.
Thank you.
It's not at all.
Period.
I mean, it's important that people know who you are. Let's be serious. But this, like, I have to get to 10,000 subs on YouTube, or I have to get to 50,000 subscribers on Instagram. Honestly, that stuff's all just, an ego pump. That's really what it is. At the end of the day, what you should be focusing on is the animals that you're keeping, the genetics in your collection. Are you producing cool stuff? Look, man, there's guys like, for example, Mark Bailey, right? Here's a great example. Almost no social media presence, doesn't have Instagram, posts a little bit on Morph Market, produces like 100 clutches and sells it every year of some of the craziest stuff produced. If you know who he is, you know who he is. He has no issue selling his animals. That's just the way Mark is. He's both Marks, Mandic and Bailey, both awesome dudes. But you don't necessarily need to be like this social media, celebrity or personality. It definitely helps some people move their animals, 100%. but I try to float in that. Like, I don't love YouTube. I like watching other people's YouTube videos, seeing what they're doing, but I just don't really love picking up the camera and be like, okay, we'll shoot a video today. It's just like not really my thing. I know that I should do it to show people what I'm making. I know that. But I still, last year, I actually got an email from John Lehman, Morph Market guy. He's like, you're paying for this, it's like premium account, and in the last year, you've listed like 5 animals on Morph Market. Everything else is gone. It's sold, completely sold out this season. And we produced over 500 babies last year, and I only had to list 5 on Morph Market. So I don't, that's sort of where we're at right now. And yeah.
Now, what would you feel like the reason is behind that? Do you feel like because everything is just, you have people that are just in touch with you so much where you're just like, dude, it's already spoken for? Or is it just in your Patreon page? Or like, where do you feel like majority of your sales are going to?
Well, some of it's through Patreon, but I mean, you can't, obviously not everyone's, you're not selling your whole season through your Patreon, but it's, it's people that I post on Instagram. It's conversations. This is a people business more than an animal business.
It is.
Know people, talk to people, have conversations with people, and not fake conversations. Like, talk to somebody. Like, just pick up the phone and talk to them. What are you working on this year, man? Okay, and really like listen to what they're doing, and that opens the doors to picking up new animals that you may be interested in, moving animals, trades, all that kind of thing. But as a general rule, I can't keep up with the requests that come in. Hey, do you have any of this? Hey, do you have any of this? And I basically just will post a clutch on Instagram or like post an animal, and they're like, what else do you have in this project? And then I just go, blah, 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 blah. Here you go. I got these. What do you think? And they're like, oh, I'll take these 2 or whatever. And yeah, so we sold the whole season with 5 animals on Morph Market. So yeah.
Out the Morph Market.
Dude, I love Morph Market. Amazing platform.
Great backup.
Yeah, amazing platform. Just don't get me wrong, it's an amazing platform. But you can get lost in there's thousands and thousands of animals on Morph Market. I do use Morph Market as a backup. But the stuff that hits Morph Market it's been picked clean. Like the collection, the holdbacks, everything. Not the holdbacks don't go anywhere, but the stuff for sale has been gobbled up long before anything touches Morph Market. So if people are interested in what's available, the best way is to reach out. All the Patreon guys, I've made a deal with those guys that they're putting their time and their investment with me. So every single animal that's for sale, everybody on Patreon gets a 2-week head start on anything that's produced. So that's
there you go. That's exciting.
Yeah, it's cool, man. It's a cool little group. I mean, I don't really want it to be this 500 people. I really don't.
No, me neither.
I like a small group of people that it's like a much more like personable, one-to-one type of thing. And we're doing all sorts of stuff. It's a fun spot.
I could say right now, man, I just based off the way Will does, the way he is customer service when he sends out a snake. And I get so much feedback of the people who are part of your fucking Patreon, man. And it's really all good shit. I can tell you right now, you are literally one of the ones leading by example when it comes to doing Patreon for people in the ball python community. There's other ones too, like obviously Miguel has one and shit, but and Justin Kabelka, like there's some legit ass Patreon pages out there. So I will say, you got to appreciate people like Will, who's actually taking the time out of his day to literally put other people on. And that's so 180 from the back of the day, right? Because you admit it was really hard to find someone who was really like, I mean, you had your people, right? But for the most part, man, I hear stories how people just got misled, or it was just really hard to get somebody to get information back in the day, where like now it's like people are just like, it's expected. You know what I mean?
Well, what ended up happening was I didn't like the scene. I didn't like the online community at the time. Everyone was hiding behind the keyboard, right? It was just like whatever Blue Dog 66 is making fun of, like, is shitting on you on
Blue balls 118.
Yeah, you're like, what the fuck? Who is this dude? You know, who cares? But
right, exactly.
I was just at an age, and the collection was at a point where I just didn't fucking care about what people on the internet had to say. I just really could give a flying fuck. So I just stopped posting. We just kept breeding our own thing. I removed myself from the community completely. I stopped going to shows. I stopped doing everything for 3 years. Didn't talk to anybody. I talked to a handful of guys. But yeah, it just wasn't a thing. I didn't care to be part of the community. And the best part about it is I just kept breeding for myself and for what we wanted. And, you know, the people that I talk to still, they knew what was, so the people that I talk to still, they knew what we were producing. We were still moving our animals, but without any social media presence or any forum presence or show presence, nothing. And honestly, I got to give it to Justin. Justin got me excited again. You know, there was a point where it was like, are we going to keep doing this? You know, it was, we weren't, I didn't have like people I talked to really all that much. It wasn't like I had like good friends in the industry or anything at the time. And so when we put ourselves back out there, you know, people were kind of like, what the fuck? You know, I had a lot of guys in Canada that had gotten in while we were just in a quiet period, but we kept breeding. And all of a sudden we were just like, you know what, fuck it. I started an Instagram account, started posting. And Justin's YouTube videos, the leopard clown, the Batman, all this stuff, I started to be like, dude, this is fucking cool. Like, that's a sick ass thing. I want to start making this stuff. And I don't care whether I'm selling them or not. I just wanted to buy them and make cool stuff. What is that going to do in Desert Ghost? We have a bunch of Desert Ghosts. Let's figure it out. And so we started picking some stuff up and then started putting out little dribs and drabs what we were making, and things took off, and you know, here we are.
I could tell you that this is the gift that Justin gives to all of us.
Dude,
because
it's insane.
Justin he's as legend as he is now, and that's just because you could go to his page and see all his current work. But if you go to his beginning YouTube videos, you can really see how legend this motherfucker was. Like
nerdy Justin, yeah. Dude, yeah, I love those.
You can tell he's like doesn't really want to be on camera, like does not want to be on camera, but he knows he has to do it because of the shit he's working with. Like, and that's why you got to put yourself out of your comfort zone, bro. And you know, I always respected Justin's evolvement from, evolving from where he was back when his 2016 videos, from what I was watching, to where he's at now. And then only that, like being a stand-up comedian, or like at least going to do stand-up comedy. Like, bro, that's not easy to do. Like,
no, it's absolutely
me, like I'm an outspoken person, but like to stand up on stage and really try to make people laugh is fucking hard. I mean, I've never done it. I don't think I want to do it, but Justin did it, and it was really, really cool. And I think like that's people challenging themselves. Like the guy could just sit back and be like, I fucking breed the sickest ball pythons in the world. But no, man, like the guy's racing fucking Porsches on racetracks and always like just doing shit that he like makes him a better person, you know? I just love that.
Yeah, dude, he's a great guy. He makes some amazing stuff. Like every post, it's like, dude, you know, sometimes it's, you know, it can be discouraging. You see, you're like, just how are you there? How are you already making stuff that I haven't even contemplated making yet? And you're like, oh yeah, I got a 10 egg clutch from this girl. What the fuck? But it's also, you know, pushes people to, you know, that's doable, that's possible, doing this stuff. You know, Justin really took Clown and Pied and put it on his back. So This is what we're going with this. And now it's, you know, look what he's done with Clown, man. It's like, holy shit. And there's other guys out there. You can do that, maybe not with Clown, but you can do that with a lot of other genes. You know, it doesn't even have to be a recessive. Somebody literally could, there's so many examples. Like someone could take super blackhead and just put it on their back. Like, I'm going to run super blackhead combos. I really like this project, and I'm just going to keep making these crazy super blackhead stuff. And you can get 5-6 years and start making crazy stuff. Like insane stuff, you know. There's tons of avenues for people to go, but I think a lot of people don't. I think one of the things that people struggle with is maybe They see a project, they see a combo, and they're like, I want to make that. There's nothing wrong with that. But by the time you generally build your way up to that, you've seen something else, and you're like, oh, I want to make that. And you're always like, there's never real like a focus or a path to follow. And if one of the honestly, again, Justin, I saw him make that pastel chocolate clown. And most people are like, fuck pastel. And I'm like, you guys are crazy.
You're tripping.
Pastel chocolate clown looked so sick out of the egg. And so I saw that and was like, okay, I want to make this. I'm nowhere near making that right now. I want to make this, but I want to follow. I don't just want to make this. I want to develop this project. I want to work this project. And so I looked at it and was like, how can I make this? What else can I put into this to make it better? Obviously, I go Desert Ghost. And so we made pastel chocolate enchi and chocolate enchi double head DG clowns, and they are producing for us this year. So hopefully we start to see pastel chocolate Desert Ghost clowns this year. So that, start to see like the progression of that. And then I can take those, add spot nose. Now you're making Dark Knight DG clowns. That's sort of the direction I'd like to go.
Respect. Justin texted me back.
What he said,
Just,
of course.
Should we spill it, or should we just talk about it later off the live? I mean,
I know the answer.
You know the answer already?
I guarantee. You don't even have to tell me. He said,
okay,
so maybe not this year, probably next year.
Okay. So what's possible of going this year? What did he text me? What is it?
It was Sunset Desert Ghost.
No, but what's the combo? There's a combo. I mean, it's like it's blank double het to blank double het.
Oh, okay, yeah. See, I don't know the combo. It's probably. I'm gonna go out on a limb. I'm gonna say it's like a.
Let's see.
Like a leopard double hat to a yellow belly enchi double hat. Something in that like kind of.
Hella wrong.
No, it's probably even crazy. Like here we go.
Oh, here we go. Stinny double hat, Desert Ghost Sunset to enchi double hat. Sunset Desert.
Yeah, I mean, it had the enchi part, but yeah, see, and that's an allelic combo, Cine and enchi.
Bro, that's gonna be great. I mean, listen. I mean, I think he said they're at follicle. I don't know how many millimeter follicles, but good follicles. He says nothing guaranteed yet. But there you guys go. You're welcome. Little insight on dude. Imagine if he hits that. Jesus Christ.
Bro, it'd be insane. It'd be stupid. Absolutely.
Now, I know we talked about this earlier. You're not much into Sunset, or you don't have any Sunset?
I have none right now, but definitely something I'm looking at. I'm just, you get to a specific point with a collection, and I don't need to jump on every single combo that's made. I know I'm better suited to sit back and wait for that snake, the snake that really changes things. And it's going to cost some money, but when you get that specific animal that really changes things for you, you get to, when you have a collection that's established and a mature collection, bring a male in and it plugs and plays, and you're instantly making cool Sunset stuff.
Right.
I look at things where if there's a male that carries Tri-Stripe, Puzzle, Desert Ghost, or Clown, it works in my collection easily.
Right. Because I was going to ask you, at some point, you just got to get realistic with yourself. You just don't add anything that's fucking hot out there. I mean, like, there's a time and place for everything, right?
For sure.
Right.
It's. There's lots to do. It's. I don't even know, dude. Like, I don't know when the right time to buy is. I don't know when. But you know when the right time to buy is. When your collection's ready for it. There comes a point with everybody where it's like, I'm ready for this type of animal. So. Yep.
And it's just also smart to not get ahead of yourself either, though, right?
Yeah, you don't want to the worst thing is buying this crazy male and not really being able to really utilize it properly. You're much better off to continue to build. And hold back and produce some stuff that puts you in a situation where you can utilize those crazy males that come available.
Yep.
It's some of them are no-brainers. Some of them you just and they're going to be different for everybody. Somebody working Ultramel Clown, crazy Ultramel combo might be like a no-brainer for them. For me, it's not even on my radar because I'm not working Ultramel at all. So I look at stuff like, a crazy, crazy desert ghost or a crazy clown male is right up my alley. If anyone has one of those, let me know. I'm looking for a really good desert ghost combo. Hopefully I can make one, but they're tough. Everyone's looking for desert ghosts right now, but it's I don't know, man. It just when it's right for your collection. You just see an animal and you're like, it just speaks to you, and you're like, that animal here, I could do so much cool stuff with. And that was one of the snakes that I bought from Justin. Was a orange ring yellow belly fire spot nose clown. He's been a solid male for me for like 4 years now.
I think a lot of it just needs to speak to you, like you're saying, right? It just really needs to speak out to you, right?
Yeah, it's hard to find those those right males. But when you do find them, oh man, they can really change things for you.
No, I think we talked about this before, but like, how early do you try to start your a first time male? Is it
tricky? Depends. Again, depends. Does he got plugs? Does he show interest when you put him in with a female? Is there, is he really, really big, but he's not that small, like he's not that young or not that old? I've had a few males that bred for me very young this year, yearling males that are breeding for me. But I'm being very, very cautious with them. I'm only trying to, I'm really using the ultrasound, and they all have backups. So they have all been backed up by a mature male. But if I can squeeze out a clutch from a young male, it can really advance what you're doing.
Do you think D-stripe and tri-stripe is the same? Adam's asking.
I don't think it's necessarily the same, because the D-stripe is missing the other 2 stripes, right? It's just the dorsal. The tri-stripe has the 3. So, I think it's definitely, they might be just different lines of the same thing, or I'm not 100% sure, to be totally honest. I haven't really paid much attention to D-stripe. I'm just starting to work tri-stripe really in any sort of meaningful way. Waiting on a really cool clutch with tri-stripes, but it's that's a project that's going to take some years to really get going.
With your incubation, right? That's something you've also it's been straightforward for you for quite a while, right? Like your incubation process, or has there been kind of a change for you throughout the years as well?
It's always nervous going to a new incubator.
Yeah.
Oh, that's always sketch. Last year we went to a brand new incubator. First year using the new building's incubator, and it worked out perfectly. Amazing, no issues. So what a sigh of relief. But you're checking on that shit a lot.
Really? Yeah, it's not.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you want to make sure, because especially walk-ins, man. Like the walk-ins are much more steady and stable than smaller incubators. They're much more prone to like temp spikes. Walk-in is same sort of thing. If you heat your house to 89 degrees, it's a much more stable temperature. It's way harder to bring the whole house up to 95 and then back down to 89, as opposed to a small little incubator, just one room. It's easy to heat up to 89 and back down to 95, right? So the same concept goes for the small incubator versus a bigger incubator. The bigger the incubator, the more thermal mass in the air. But incubation with ball pythons is pretty straightforward, man. Put them at 89. Put them in, I just soak the vermiculite so it's wet.
Right.
Put not so it's like
wet,
like a swamp, but I can if you touch it, I can push water out of it. Put a piece of light diffuser, put the eggs, press and seal, put them away for 58 days.
Yeah, part a day.
Yeah, pretty much. It's very easy. Ball pythons does pretty. It's not too hard. And it's not that hard because we've all collectively figured out how to do this.
Right.
I'm sure there's other species that people are perceived as hard, but they're probably not that hard. It's just there's not that many people doing it, so not that many people. There's not as big of a group of people trying to figure them out.
Right. Now I have to ask you, Will. How are your other animals doing other than ball pythons? Like how are the blue tree monitors doing? Like I want to know how your animals.
Trees are cool. I don't really love the trees all that much. They're cool. Don't get me wrong.
They're cool to look at.
They're different, man. They're cool looking, yeah, but they don't like me at all, man. They just
I have green trees, man. They're the same. They're so skittish. They're fucking. They don't want nothing to do with me whatsoever.
So you have the greens. Yeah, the greens are amazing. I actually So from my understanding, the greens and the yellows, Prasinus and Rising Garai, are the
Prasinus,
two
right.
that are the most apt to be socialized.
Right.
And then the McCrea and the Bakari, I think it is,
Bakari's.
the blacks and the blues, they're much closer to the wild caught lineage.
Yep.
So they're still a bit more like, get the fuck away from me type of, nope, boom, into a cork tube and you never see them for another day.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then we're working on some hognose stuff. So
hognoses, that's what it was, bro. Somebody told me you got into hognoses.
Yeah, so we got a collection of hogs.
Wow.
Yeah, they're cool. They're different too. They're psycho.
What made you want to get into those?
I just think they're cool. You know, we saw some and I went over, saw the collection, and was like, dude, these are pretty wicked. Started doing a little bit of research. I like that everything's basically a double recessive project. So just like across the board, everything's recessive. Just like two, what's it called? Two codoms. And then there's line bred traits and stuff. But I think they're cool. There's some cool stuff to do.
Did you get into some like a heavy type project, or like what kind of like what did you get into with the?
I think so. We got a couple like some super Arctic stuff. We've got I think we got a pair of super Arctic lavenders. So I forget the name. Not storm cloud. That's the Axanthic lav or Axanthic sable. What's moonstone? Moonstone. I think that's what it's called. It's super Arctic lavender. We got some sable, extreme red albino stuff. We got super conda sable. So some cool stuff for sure. Learning curve.
You got boas too. Am I tripping, or do you have boas?
No boas.
Okay, cool.
No, too big.
You want to get into green trees at some point, right?
I'd like to get into basins.
Oh, I could totally see you with basins for sure.
I'd like to do basins at some point, but those are
tell me about it.
Different kind of beast.
Yeah, it's no joke. That's a whole nother level of everything. My shout to my boy Socrates. He has a couple. He had a couple of pairings going on this year, and he still has one in the hopes. But fuck, man, it's just like talk about like not knowing what the fuck. Like Jesus, like it's just not.
Yeah, bro. And that's from what I understand too. And then like the really common thing with the basins is like you breed them and then you just fucking find the female dead.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, like this thing had been growing up slow and steady, and she's gorgeous, just like that. Like 10 days away from laying, ovulates, you see everything, and just like boom, she's dead. Like, what the fuck happened? And it's not like it was their fault, I don't think. I mean, I'm sure there's some sort of reason why it's happening. It's just they're a slow species to breed, not many people working with them, and I just but dude, talk about like I'd say without fail, the most impressive display animal is an emerald basin.
Oh, for
just like fuck, man.
I mean,
like that depending on the head just sitting on the branch, like just like with its head down, and a nice, like beautiful live plants, like nice display tank, the perch, and this thing sitting with his head hanging down like that. It's like
if we're talking a full grown basin, nothing could compare to that.
No chance.
So gigantic, like it's crazy, bro. Like, it's a dreamy sight. I can tell you that.
Yeah, watch those teeth, but man.
3.5 inches, bro, going in.
Yeah, bro. Now watch those teeth, but dude, are they ever pretty?
Yeah, man. I'm telling you, there's something.
I want to see green ball pythons, like green, like that. I'm sure it's doable. You know, 10 years ago, people would be like red. You'd be like, are you out of your mind? There's no chance that's happening. And now I think we can make some pretty red snakes. You know, like I think some Desert Ghost Sunset stuff might be pretty red. So
we'll know at some point, sooner or later.
Yeah. I think probably every color is achievable with the ball pythons. And she has the green in it, but I'm talking like emerald basin green, like green
as fuck.
Yeah, like I want to see like this, like green, like this,
like this green right here, like
yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yep.
And even like blues, stuff like that.
Right. I have a wrap-up question for you, Will, before we get into this hot seat questions, okay?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Now, this is only because I'm asking this because you have experience of seeing the different types of waves of people coming into the hobby and whatnot. But like I said, for the most part, this hobby's building. There's a lot of people coming in, super excited, super stoked. But what do you think the one mistake a lot of people make when first coming into a hobby like the ball python game? That may be something they could avoid based off what you see.
Ooh, good question too. Getting too involved in I don't know how to say it. I think getting too involved in like hype and like a lot of it needs to come down to, there's learn what you're doing. That's the it doesn't matter what you're working with. Learn what you're actually doing instead of the like getting it. Like I think a lot of guys come in and it's like, I gotta have a business name, I gotta have an Instagram account, I gotta start a YouTube channel, and I gotta do all this stuff. But it's all about like pay attention to me, and
it's about them.
Exactly. That's exactly it. Like don't necessarily come in and try and be this big personality. Everyone's just a normal. Most people are just normal people that like snakes, and some people have fancier color snakes. It's really like there's no difference in breeding, Pompeii versus breeding an Enchi. It's the same concept. So learn how to breed them. Learn what you're doing. Learn the genetics. Learn which combos to avoid. Get yourself someone who's willing to talk and willing to chat with you about this sort of stuff, and invest smartly. Like it's buy from quality breeders. Like realistically, is a huge one. Buy from guys that are that 3 years later are going to be there when you have a question or when you have an issue, when you have something go on. That's important. Outside of that, I mean, work with what you like, have fun with it. There's nothing wrong with just being, you that has some snakes. That's totally cool. I know lots of guys who don't have a business name, don't have an Instagram account, and make the crazy. I buy 30 grand worth of snakes from them every single year because they're just making crazy stuff and they just enjoy doing it. And I know who they are, and I call them before anybody else. I'm like, yo, are you making any heat this year? What do you got? So that's that's pretty much what I would say.
Respect. Huge respect.
And figure out your infrastructure. That's important too.
Right.
How are you going to keep them? Where are you going to get your rodents? What's your supply look like? Can you afford to feed 100 snakes every single week? Like there's a lot of stuff that goes into it, but right off the bat, work with what you like and understand what you're buying.
Because I mean, I had this conversation, I don't know how long ago, with somebody who ran out of like food source, you know what I mean? And I feel like, that could happen, but I feel like with good planning, like always have a backup.
It can happen, but at the same time, it shouldn't happen,
Right.
I had issues with some rodents this year as well. I couldn't produce enough. The guy I was buying from couldn't produce enough. So I found there was a few weeks of the year where I drove, 4-hour round trips to go pick up 400 rats. It just has to happen. Not feeding, especially during your breeding season, dude, especially during your breeding season, not feeding is not an option.
That should not be happening.
Should not be happening at all.
I agree. Or you shouldn't be breeding.
Period. You said it, not me. Yeah.
Fucking duck hunt, baby. God damn, Will, this was great. I appreciate this. Round 2. We're gonna get to do some hot seat questions. Have we done hot seat questions before? You and I?
I think so. It was like, what do you like, milk or cookies or something?
I got some new ones off the top. I'm gonna hit you with, and it's okay. But we're some hot seat questions from my man Willie style, before we let him go and enjoy the rest of his night. So, all right, here we go, Will. Hot seat question time. You ready?
Yeah.
To cut or to not to cut?
Not cut.
Okay. To pre-kill or to not pre-kill?
Pre-kill or not pre-kill?
Yes.
I don't pre-kill.
Okay. Most people.
What?
Most people.
Mouse people? Most people?
Yeah, most people are.
Pretty good. Pretty chill.
Few people are.
Not so chill.
Respect. Favorite thing to cook?
Steak.
Okay. Favorite thing to eat?
Steak.
Chevy or Ford?
Ford. Fuck a
Ford,
Chevy.
okay.
No.
Lake or ocean?
Lake.
Okay. Nirvana or Green Day?
Nirvana.
Respect.
No question. that shouldn't even be. Yeah. Everyone has their own tastes, but.
Little word association. First thing to come to mind. Sticker swap.
Pass.
Sorry. Substrate.
Cocoa or cypress. Either one.
Cocoa.
Husk.
White wine.
Hangover.
American women.
Decent.
West Coast rap or East Coast rap?
East Coast.
Okay. Instagram trolls.
Love it. Love it.
All right, man. And I already know which one you would get rid of, right? Fuck Facebook. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah,
You would
probably.
you'd keep Instagram over Facebook. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
I think you
Yeah.
already know that.
Yeah.
Fuck,
Instagram
Will.
Trolls are the best, man. They're actually like you can have a lot of fun.
You want to know why this is the coolest reptile podcast in the world, bro? Other than you being on here for round 2. Do you want to know why? Because the like ratio to view ratio is out of this fucking world. Remember that this shit had 120 plus fucking likes. And yeah, we're at 96 views now, but bro, we were at consistent 120 views throughout this whole fucking 2 hours. What do you have to say to all your supporters out there? Everyone, dude, I haven't had a show this big in a while, and it's all because of you. So much love, much respect. But what do you have to say to everyone out there who came to watch you today, Will?
I appreciate everybody. Thanks for tuning in. You guys are awesome. The community is just getting better and better. We'll weed out the bad apples, but it's great spot to be, and everybody who's doing this should be extremely excited for what's coming.
You're the man, bro. Thank you so much, Will.
Appreciate it.
I'll talk to you again soon, and you have a wonderful night, man. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Will,
have a good
ladies
one.
and gentlemen, RCR, baby.
Thank
All
you.
right, bro. Have a good night, man. Fucking Will Moroz in the books, round 2, just as good as I thought it was going to be. Thank you to everyone who tapped in, all the viewers, man. Thank you so much. All the likes. Will you guys remember how many likes went down tonight? Because tomorrow, if I have 41 likes again, I'm telling you, I mean, it is what it is. I just need people to back me up and see this, okay? Because you guys all gave the legit likes for the homie Will Moroz. Thank you so much, guys. If this was your first time tapping in, please do your boy a favor. Hit the subscribe button right there. Don't leave without hitting subscribe. Hit the like button, dislike button, drop a comment, all that good stuff. And again, if you want to reach out to me, hit me up on Instagram, mjexoticscartal with an A, not an E. Also, go follow the podcast's Instagram, Trap Talk with MJ podcast. And then shout out to the Twitch, TikTok, and then my Patreon members. Much love. I'll see you guys. Actually, I won't see you guys Sunday because of 4th of July. So make sure you guys have a great 4th of July weekend. If I don't see you, hold on. Have a great 4th of July. If I don't see you this Saturday, baby, it's going down. That's right. Trap Talk with MJ. We have the homie Tim Harvey of Morphed Out Reptiles, who's going to be here Saturday morning with us. Trap Talk with MJ, coffee and dab session. It's going down 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I can't wait. I had the pleasure of meeting the homie Tim at the Schomburg show. He's working with some sick-ass super chocolate shit. and we're going to dip into it. We're going to dip into chalk. Wow, that sounds good. I'm hungry. But anyways, make sure you guys tune in for that. Make sure you guys are ready because it's going to be sick as fuck. And yeah, man, shout out to all my Patreon members. Like I said, you guys have a wonderful night. All my viewers have a wonderful night. And you guys just, just be ready next time because this shit's just never going to stop, bro. Like Will said, we weed out the bad apples. We welcome in the fresh ones.